When many people first look at the logic behind the use of tau over the use of pi, they will say that it's only a factor of 2, it's not that big of a deal, that you're overreacting, or they will say that it's too late to switch, we've been using pi for centuries and it makes no sense to switch now. And in that, I like to use Weihart's good quote saying that you were making excuses for pi. And as Michael Hartle says, it's time to stop making excuses. A factor of 2 really can make a big difference. Take a look at a standard unit circle. Anyone who knows anything about the pi versus tau debate knows that radians are much easier to know when you have them in terms of tau. Here they are in terms of pi, and it frustrates students, it gets everyone confused, and many people even end up having to memorize the entire unit circle, each little section individually, because the use of pi rather than tau makes it so much confusing. It's just a factor of 2, and it makes a huge difference. Another way to see the problem is to take another example of a constant, say e, 2.71828, etc., a very special number when it comes to calculus. Suppose we did not use e anymore, we used g. G was equal to the square root of e, and e squared would be equal to g. And we were looking at the number g instead of the number e. And we had all sorts of equations like g to the 2x, the derivative is g to the 2x. It has its own derivative. Using g instead of e will give you all sorts of random equations with random factors of 2 that confuse everybody, factors of 2, most which do not exist in the first place. And every once in a while you're going to get rid of an extra factor of 2 because there's a natural factor of 1/2 in there, just like with the area of a circle formula with pi. Anybody could see how absurd it is to use g instead of e, but at the same time many people would also argue that all you have to do is square it. But that squaring factor is what makes the big difference. It makes everything so much more confusing. And the same goes with using pi instead of tau. Even though there's only a factor of 1/2, it still makes a big difference and it is worth switching. And if anybody says it's too late to switch to tau, why don't you take a look at the metric system? In this analogy, tau is to pi as the metric system is to the American system. The metric system is superior to the American system in pretty much every single way there is. And today, every country in the world uses the metric system except for the United States and a few other countries. This wasn't the case hundreds of years ago. There were several systems around, especially the modern American one. And over the time, everyone got to switch the metric system. Now, if back then everybody could switch their entire systems of measurements, why can't people now switch from pi to tau? You don't have to erase hundreds of years of mathematics, you simply change it. You changed it from something arbitrary and complicated to something mathematical and simple. So, is switching from pi to tau really worth all the fuss? Yes, it is.